A little background before we jump into the cooking. I didn't want to spend a ton of money on traditional freeze-dried food. For two broke college kids, that wasn't very realistic. So after watching a few YouTube videos on how to dehydrate and prep food ourselves, I decided to try making my own version. I spent the previous days testing a few ingredients: eggs, pasta, variety of vegetables, and chicken at two different oven settings, 150 degrees without convection and 170 degrees with convection. That was the lowest our oven would go. I would have preferred around 140 degrees. After testing, we decided with a breakfast skillet and chicken fried lentils. We aim to make about 20 meals of each, all coming in at over 1,000 calories per serving. Starting with the breakfast skillet, we chopped up around 30 small red potatoes and 30 small gold potatoes, seasoned them with a light layer of oil, salt, cayenne, onion powder, and garlic powder, then tossed them in the oven at high heat for around 30 minutes. Next came the eggs. We cracked 180 in total, or about 5 per skillet. We chopped up about 10 peppers and 10 onions for both flavor and nutrition, cooked it all down in the large skillet, and topped it off with about 4-ish cups of cheese. If you don't have a skillet, 4 big pots on a stovetop would work just fine, or like if you're going on a less extensive trip, 1 or 2 pots. Obviously not everyone is going to have access to a commercial cooking space.
This is our sauteed peppers and onions. Our eggs are going. We have a 3-cheese blend here, Munster, cheddar, and pepper jack. Let's see how much we should go. Roughly a cup.
Yeah, because I guess we're going to put more on top too, like when we're actually cooking it.
Yeah. This is our potato update. Sliced and cubed it. 15 pounds of potatoes. Very nice.
We got the potatoes going in, taking them out of the oven. Wow, look at that. Got some more. How are we feeling about this, Jake?
I'm feeling really good about it. I think this is going to come out really well after we dehydrate in the oven. I think a breakfast skillet, regardless, it's going to be able to rehydrate pretty well.
Yeah.
And the flavor's there. We've been trying this one. It's really good.
Absolutely.
If you haven't noticed so far, we are in a functioning family-owned restaurant.
Finished product.
Not finished product.
Almost finished product.
Yeah, halfway finished product. Jake, describe the process. What are we doing here afterwards?
So afterwards, on the trail, I guess actually, yeah, let's talk even before that. This has to get put in the oven for about the next 6 to 10 hours, depending. I'm going to keep a relative good eye on it after about the 5-hour mark. Yeah, I am. I woke up this morning to check on the testing. However, I think that this is going to come out pretty good. We're going to set it on 150 in the oven, let it cook for the next couple hours, have a couple sheet trays. We're going to fully dehydrate it, and that is going to allow for longer preservation, and then we're going to vacuum seal it. After that process, along the trail, we're going to get a pot about yay big, boil some water up, and add the amount. Each serving is equivalent to 5 eggs, 2 large potatoes. There's a little bit of pork in here, a little bit of meat hot, just for a little flavor that we added from the restaurant. Couple peppers and onions, and cheese. And then we're also going to have a little cheese on the trail.
Cheese, tortilla.
Yeah, and a little tortilla.
tortilla.
Think of like a little breakfast wrap in the morning. Yeah, we'll pan over from this into like us on our first time trying it, and we will
Like snap, and then ready?
boom. All right, we got my boy Eddie here, working at Jose Joe's, strong employee. What do you got to say to the camera, Eddie?
And listen, y'all gonna have a meal that's gonna be extraordinary.
Hell
and the
yeah.
way he's hooking it up,
It's
y'all
gonna be a
good to
good
go.
meal. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you for the words of
We
wisdom.
then moved on to the chicken fried lentils. We used lentils instead of rice for higher protein and fiber content. Though next time I might swap it in for quinoa for faster cooking, because we added the dry lentils directly into the bag without pre-cooking them. But really any grain would work. Dan chopped another dozen onions while I cut about 10 pounds of chicken, seasoning it with a mix of spices, olive oils, and butter. The chicken then went in the oven at 350 while we prepped the rest. We chopped up a mix of peppers, carrots, and broccoli to balance out the macros, sauteed everything in a light olive oil, and then diced the cooked chicken and tossed it all together for a quick final simmer. One thing to add is you want to chop your ingredients very small and uniform for 2 reasons. First, it will dehydrate significantly faster in the oven and dehydrate evenly. For me, what happened with some of the larger pieces while dehydrating, they didn't cook fast enough or dry out fast enough, so they had to be discarded or put onto a separate tray to finish drying them out. Second, it will cook and absorb water faster when heating up on the trail. You don't want to be waiting more than 20 plus minutes for food. Halfway through the trip, we started cold soaking our food about an hour before we knew we wanted to eat. This also sped up the cooking process on the trail, so we just had to heat up the food rather have it soak and heat. Mom, give us a quick little holla at the vlog. Thank you. So here we have this meal. This is enough for 36 meals, and let me explain. So I have 10 pounds of chicken, tomatoes, broccoli, onions, lots of mushrooms in here, peppers, carrots, just hitting some nutrient goals here. And then the chicken is for protein, and same with these lentils. So out of the 36 meals that I'm making, I had bought 18 of these, and a half cup goes in each one. This is going to be the bulk of the calories and protein, same with the chicken. And now I'm going to spread it over these pans. I'm going to throw a little olive oil down, then throw it in the oven at 150. So let's see what happens. So I don't know how thin to go. So this is just total eyeball. We did a light experiment.
It'll go faster.
Yes. We did it, but that's not going to happen now. And this is already pretty oily. So hopefully that doesn't affect it too much. Now I do have some play here with an extra pan. Let's take some off this guy. Spread that out and about. And I do want them relatively the same thickness, so they take relatively the same time. Alright, that looks pretty darn good. Alright, I'm going to throw these in the oven on 150. I'm going to check on them at about 11 o'clock tonight in 5 hours. We'll see what happens. Listen to this. It is 1:48 and we had taken out the top ones. This is how they turned out. Now I will say these probably got a little too cooked. I was shooting for about 80% dehydration. But that's alright. These ones are 2 hours behind because they got taken out of the oven for my mom had to bake something. So if we check on them, this one is a little more of how I wanted it. I actually think I'm gonna take these out fairly soon. They're pretty squishy, but you can tell like they're very dry. The other ones are a little too, almost too dry for my liking. And this is just a relative eyeball and a quick Google search of how to tell when it's 80% dry. When it's fully dry, they're just completely brittle and you can break them in half. These still have a little life to them. So I'm gonna give them a little bit longer, maybe 45 minutes-ish. And then, yeah, we'll see how these go. This is the cheapest vacuum sealer that you can buy on Amazon. My finished product for food, it looks like dog food, but before it tasted great. And then 18 pounds of lentils. I'm gonna have to roughly eyeball this into 18 different portions. Well, technically 36, but 18 portions, I'm gonna double them up. And then pre-cut these bags.
Hey Jake, what are you doing?
Here we are going to be vacuum sealing our meals.
So step one is you're custom cutting your bags.
Yes.
So you're making your own bag right now. Is that what you're doing?
Yes. Roughly this size for 2 meals that I'm putting in this.
So the first step is sealing one end of the bag.
Yeah. As we'll show right here.
Little nervous.
I'd be a little nervous too. Drop that down, click the seal button.
First step is done.
per sep, sealed bag, looks nice, crispy, clean.
That is pretty impressive.
I need 2 cups of lentils.
And those are dried lentils.
Dried lentils.
Right out of the bag.
Right out of the bag. Number 1. Number 2. Hit our calories and protein goals here. Next, we're putting in about 0.85 cups worth of chicken and veg. A little bit of an eyeball. Put that on top. This was cooked and already seasoned
And dried.
and dried in the oven.
18 hours of drying in the oven.
And then we're
Plus a
gonna
good
take
hour of cook and preparation.
1 tablespoon.
No, like the heaping tablespoon.
And then
That's
an additional.
That's a teaspoon, not a tablespoon.
That's what I meant. An additional half right there. The last step of this process,
We should do one and put a chunk of butter in it.
we can try that, is to flush it up against this, lock it down, and hit the dry button.
Jake, can we talk a little bit about the purchase of this piece of equipment you just got?
Sure. The Bonsim Chicken VS2100, the cheapest model on Amazon for $21.
But it appears to be crushing it right now.
Yeah, it's nailed it the past couple.
Let's take a look. That is solid like a rock. You can't even budge it.
All right, be careful.
Very solid. All right, my recommendation to Jacob is getting, for a few extra calories and delicious flavor, he can put a nice chunk of butter in each bag and it'll hold. That's my recommendation.
Yeah, we'll think about that one.
All right.
After vacuum sealing, this is a rough estimate and a minimum right here of how many cups of water I'm gonna need in each. So most of them are 5. We have a couple extra that are 6 cups for hungrier days, and then this one is an extra large one, and then this is just extra lentils that were left over. But I'm gonna just bring them because why not? Just throw a little adobo seasoning. Won't be great, but on the trail, I don't think I'll care. Back to optimization. And into here, I had a convect oven. We're rocking, it's going between about 145 and about set to 155. This is the finished product of the egg and potatoes and veggies. Here is the rehydrated finished product, and we're gonna give it to Anthony and his friend Logan. Here, Anthony.
Whoa.
And here, Logan, try this. All right, give me an honest review. The texture may be a little weird, but the taste should be there. All right, it's not an immediate disgust.
It's disgusting.
Okay.
It's not that bad.
All right, Logan's an honest man. Thank you, Logan. Gonna give it a little review myself.
I know Logan was trying to be nice about it. Like, it's okay.
Anthony, don't get your tinsel tangled buddy there.
Where did you eat that? It's right there.
I actually like it a lot. The flavor is there. Surprisingly, the texture isn't that bad.
Alright, here you go.
I actually like it so much. I may finish this bowl.
Raising it.